not relaxed, the blood will not get incorporated into the corpora cavernosa. So vascular damage is there, vasoconstriction of the area, okay, and impair smooth muscle relaxation. Again, alcohol. Obviously, our country is means everywhere. This is not our country. Everywhere, everybody wants to take lots of alcohol. Somebody having a habit of every day taking more than 3 pegs, 4 pegs, and this is exactly what happened. It doesn't cause your per se erection, but what it happens, it decreases your desire in the sex, and that we called as reduced libido on transient impotence. And obviously, this particular too much alcohol can cause multifactorial peripheral neuropathy. So more than 4 pegs on a longer duration for couple of years, more than a decade, obviously you may going to have an definitely ED. Okay. As I mentioned to you earlier, diabetes and impotence, 50% of the patients may develop erectile dysfunction because of an autonomic neuropathy and sensory neuropathy and associated with arteriosclerosis events. And obviously, you may going to have a significant less diminished distal cavernosal arterial blood flow can cause an sexual dysfunction. This is exactly what we talked earlier. Obviously, the endothelial damage is there. Smooth muscle, adequate smooth muscle relaxation, which we will not achieve, and it may cause ED. Sometimes, most of the time, this alcohol, smoking, why people get perverted to this kind of an addiction when they are under too much amount of mental stress, when they are amount of too much physical stress because of their daily activity, and then people are perverted to this kind of an addiction. And once they get habituated with certain amount of addictions and habits, then you may going to have such a notorious and serious effect within the body, and you may not only destroy your heart, you may not only destroy your liver parenchyma, you may not able to destroy your your nephrons, but at the same time you may going to have an nuisance effect on the corpus cavernosa and their arterial and venous channels. So both peripheral vascular and neurological damage, it can take place because of habits and addictions with a psychological overlay, and which and stress are also open. This is very important slide in today's world where the people get shifted from, they get away from the situation when there is a mental stress. But that's not the issue. You see, everybody can see. Basically, alcohol does what? Alcohol just can increase the excitement of the mind. It increases the fantasy of the mind, but it doesn't relieve the problem. So one should take into an 60 or 90 ml is okay, all right. It can give some amount of an good amount of an energetic effect, excitement, arousal, and then you can just have a good food and go for a sex, man. That's not a problem. So physiology of erection, how it comes into category. These three particular factors: active cavernosa smooth muscle relaxation, with the relaxation of the smooth muscle, with the partitions into the corpus cavernosa, increase arterial blood inflow. When the blood is get entrapped, at the same time the venous channels or the veins of the which supplying to the penis, which has to be get trapped out, or they get compressed. So obviously what happens, the blood gets within the corpus cavernosa for a period of time, and you may going to have a turgidity and tumescence effect. And therefore, once the blood gets inside, at the same time the tunica albuginea, it gets compressed on the venous area, and there is a decreased venous outflow, and you may going to land up with an erection. And this is how the arterial supply, the main artery, common iliac, which bifurcates into two, external iliac and internal iliac. Internal iliac again going from its posterior branch, internal pudendal artery, and this internal pudendal artery going further is going to give this cavernosal artery, bulbar artery, and artery to the corpus spongiosum and urethral artery. So these are the blood supply. This is how the blood supply, and you see very micro or very small size caliber artery, and therefore these arteries may going to get blocked, and you may going to have an weaker erection. So we in today's days, in today's era of urology, we have a fantastic something treatment which I'm going to show you. So many days we are using pharmacological agents, we are getting an intrapenile injection, penile implant, but now I'm going to tell you at my end of the talk something which I have I have experience and treat my patients, and all patients are happy. And this is an excellent non-invasive modality of treatment for erectile dysfunction with a very less time, and it improves the erection like anything. So it's something phenomenal. So this is how this is how the what we can talk about the two corpora, and this is how the urethra about your this thing. This is a dorsal deep dorsal vein. This is how the, and this is exactly what we talk about tunica albuginea of the corpus cavernous. It is very important part, tunica albuginea. It maintains the elasticity of the corpus cavernosa. Once the tunica albuginea is fibrotic, either because of an intrapenile injection or could be an Peyronie's disease, you may going to have an erectile failure, or you may going to have an ED. And this is exactly what we talk about. Is this is a now supply. We supply this particular bladder, rectum, and this particular area. So when they try and do a particular surgery somewhere here, they may going to interfere with this neuronal or this nerve damage, and which may interfere with the your normal erections are concerned. Now going further, this is how the normal histological view. This is how the imaginary vein. This is what your tunica albuginea, and this is what we called inside is a sinusoid, and this is how the cavernosal artery. So what happens when you have an erection? When you have an erection, these sinusoids are going to get bigger. The arteries are, you see this artery get dilated, and the more amount of penile blood flow. This is how the artery, and this is what you're looking at outside is a vein. So there is a vein which gets blocked along with the compartment, with the venous compartment, and the veins which get pushed along with the tunica albuginea, and then these veins get pushed along with the walls. So obviously, the more amount of blood gets entrapment into the sinusoid, and you may going to have a turgidity and good amount of erection. You see, so this is exactly what happened during normalization. This is how an histological feature. So sinusoids which get engorged. So how you can investigate any ED patient? Usually we do an hormonal assay, testosterone, prolactin. You do a nocturnal phenylketonuria test, phenobrachial index, as I mentioned to you, intracavernous injection, color Doppler study, cavernosography, pelvic arteriography, nerve conduction, this and that. And this is how in olden days, we used to conduct that about the something called as Regiscan. This is a special device which comes. What it has to be fitted to the at the base of the penis, and it may go. See, this is how the fitted, and this electrode, this particular connection wire electrode has to be placed to the base of the penis, and then the whole night you may going to achieve how many times you may going to have an erection. This machine records. You see. So this is how in modern era today's we do a color Doppler study and try and see the cavernosal reversal flow, the cavernosal flowmetry. You see valsalvar pressure within a certain amount of artery, and there is a comparison study with the sonologist, and they may going to give a Doppler study, color Doppler study, ultrasound study as far as your arterial flow is concerned, venous area is concerned, or venous channels are concerned. At the same time, it may going to give an information about the plaques and so many things when you ask for such a specialized investigation. And this is how one should have an a good amount of valsalval pressure where the velocity is going more than 40-45. But when you have an erectile dysfunction, you cannot see such kind of a good spike, and you may going to have something like this. So when you have something like this, it suggests that this particular duplex study is going to have an ED. And this is absolutely in today's modern era where we can do a penile Doppler study and identify whether it's a vasculogenic cause or whether it's something else. So now, going further, my audience, just bear with me for next 15 minutes. But this is very important. Without finishing the treatment of the ED, how we will wind up the lecture. So counseling and surveillance to both the partners, vacuum therapy, intracavernosal as vasoactive drugs, intraurethral suppository, PDE5 inhibitors, androgens, penile implants, and linear intensity shock wave therapy. Now, believe me, This last title has been dramatically improved this andrological field in from last 7 to 8 years. When I entered in urology in 1999, that time we used to use this particular therapy, or still we are using this particular extracorporeal shock wave therapy, is to treat the kidney stones, is to treat the upper ureteric stone. We do a lithotripsy in order to get the stone out in a small powdery form or in a small sand-like particles. But now the science is so advanced where this intensity, the shock waves, the sound waves, which can improve your blood flow, and you may going to have a normal erection. I'm going to give you all statistics and all details about the linear intensity shock wave therapy. Now, very important, all my colleagues, when you treat an, especially, about the erectile dysfunction, the knowledge about the sexology, you must spend lots of time with your patient, and you must teach their, how to do the sex, different positions in the sex. Sometimes patient may going to have a premature ejaculation. Then how you can delay your ejaculation time. There is something called as, you just stretch the penis and leave it. You just stretch the penis and leave it in between when you try and perform the sex. This is called as tightening and squeezing technique as far as the premature ejaculation is concerned. So all these things, of course, it's a vast topic. I'm not a sexologist. I'm basically treating with the andrological part, and we are more into the modern era. So knowledge about the sexology, and it's a time-consuming therapy, but one must treat it. And there are people, they are just doing psychological and sexology consultation, and they're charging more than 5,000, 6,000 per day, or for per patient. You see, so this is but it's really, you have to give your determination and so much amount of dedication towards the subject partnership. So you have to identify, is there any partner, relation to the partner, is there any kind of, sometimes what happens, person doesn't have interest in his own wife, but he may have an interest with somebody else. This may happen because your erection may be different partners. So one has to be identified. That's why the erectile dysfunction is not only on organic cause, but it may depend on your psychological overlay. So it may very important part that how your participation during that time, as far as the stimulus is concerned, your excitement, your thoughts, your fantasy, sometimes different ideas people are carrying, and that's very important. So partners participation, interest in sexual activities, interest in your dressing code, interest in your so many areas. You people maybe wonder that how much this person can talk in different era, but this is what exactly the era lies. It may be a small factor, but this is something which fit it into the psychological aspect, where you may depresses your hormonal stimulus, depresses your neural stimulus, depresses your relaxation of a smooth muscle, and more amount of tunica may be tight, and you may not going to have an entrapment of the blood. So basically, all these factors are contributing to those particular area to get a stimulus. So optimal results. So you have to conduct the meeting when both the partners are there, and relationship has to be healthy, very mutual understanding. There should not be a controversy, and this is definitely a time-consuming therapy. This is again happen with our population, not with the Western population. Performance of anxiety, because little knowledge. So that's why very important. Mangesh, next time you have to keep me for a counseling meeting rather than going for such a exhaustive talk. So little knowledge about the sexual functions, cultural sexual myths, taboos, lack of communication. Our Indian people, no, today is the Sankashti, today is this day, today is Thursday, today is Baba day, today is this, that day, we cannot perform. So these are how things which may happen, and you may going to get postpone the activities, and it may going to have an intercommunication gap, some sort of an delayed communication, some sort of a delayed amount of a desire and craving, and further inability to perform the act. And sometimes you may not be able to confident. You may going to have an fear in your mind whether I can able to, because sometimes what happens, the girl may be at 21 year, the boy may be maybe up 35, 40 years. They may going to have She may going to fear, and she may not able to give a good position while performing the sex, and she going to contract the perineal muscle. He cannot able to penetrate inside, and once or two times he going to failure. He going to an psychological phobia that he cannot able to perform. I'm telling you. So there are certain myths. There are, performance anxieties. Sometimes what happens, very obese person and female weight is about 45, 50. His age, his weight is 105. You want to do an activity. He may think that if I come upstairs, I may not able to perform. Sorry, I may not able to do penetration properly. And if I do penetration properly, he may going to get breathless, and we may going to have a catastrophe. And then they they don't do proper sex. Usually he lie down below, the female maybe on the top, and then your penis doesn't penetrate properly. It doesn't hit the good vaginal and cervical area, and then you may not reach to the climax and orgasm. So many problem of if there is a lack of communication and performance of anxiety. Going further is one of the different modality of treatment is a vacuum therapy for importance. What happened in this vacuum therapy? There is a plastic cylinder which placed around the penis, sealed with the airtight, and with the balloon, you create a vacuum. This draws this particular vacuum, which draws the blood into the corpus cavernosa and penile rigidity, and a penile constricting at the end. There is a penile constricting. When you press that button, this penile constricting is then applied to maintain the erection. But the problem of this particular thing, the complication, pain, it could be a pain, penile bruising, and petechial hemorrhage along with the penile skin, and unstable erection. So this is how this particular device, and you have to fit it the penis from here, and this is how the pumping inside, and this particular clip which they go. Sometimes what happens, they do perform the sex, but while sleeping, they just try to forget to take out this particular ring, and next day morning they come with the whole penile skin is get edematous, and the tip of the penis is become penile skin become gangrene. I have faced this situation not now, about 15 years ago. So this is a very dangerous instrument. So one has to be first educated, and tension ring. This particular tension ring has to be removed. Then penis returns to a flaccid state. Otherwise, the engorgement remain whole night. Now, going further, a very important intracavernosal injections. So now these are the vasodilators. So one thing is a papaverine hydrochloride, 60 milligram per 2 ml. This is a benzyl isoclonic derivative, basically muscular trophic, spasmolytic, but lacks action on the vascular bed. Means on other areas, cardiovascular or other smooth muscles inside the body, but it just acts on within the corpus cavernosal smooth muscle, and it gives a fabulous erection 15 to 20 minutes. Another phentolamine, alpha 1, alpha 2 adrenergic blockers. This is more potent as compared to papaverine. I had been using regularly papaverine in our urological setups, our institutes, where papaverine we trap with the insulin syringe, and just how to give papaverine, that also I'll show you in further slides. So phentolamine, alpha 1, alpha 2 adrenergic blockers inhibit the circulating epinephrine and norepinephrine, reducing hypertension effect. Means basically epinephrine and norepinephrine, they can cause vasoconstriction. So they reduce this particular increased pressure within the blood vessels, and results into a massive erection. So basically this alpha 1, alpha 2 adrenergic blockers, which reduces the constriction, but they can cause vasodilatation. Aprostadil, prostaglandin inhibitor, is a very powerful injection, averages 10 microgram external erection. But the side effect is when you give an intravenous injection, the erection remain for 1 or 2 hours, but the erection has to be down within 6 hours. If the erection doesn't come down within 6 hours, normally, that we call a demutation phase. The effect of the drug has to be get weared off within first 6 hours. If the erection stays more than 6 hours, then we inform the patient that call us and come and inform. Otherwise, you will never achieve the erection in whole life, because the continuous erection may going to have a neuronal damage. So side effect is a priapism, painful erection if the erection persists because of an commanding load of drug influence. So priapism, penile pain, headache, abnormal ejaculation. So we have certain amount of in andrology by mix, some amount of sometime somebody doesn't respond to papaverine, then we have to papaverine plus phentolamine, we have to give combination. Sometimes we give a very high dose of trimix, is papaverine, phentolamine, and largactil. These are can cause masculinous erection. This is how the cavernous injections can be given. I'll show you in next slide. This is how the needle comes, and this is how the artery, and exactly these are the sinusoids, and this is a caverjet which costs about almost about 4,000 to 5,000. This is a filled syringe. You have to just check it out how you take the insulin or how you take the vaccine. Similarly, this is all caverjet injection. You directly put into the corpus cavernosa, and immediately within 10-15 minutes you may going to have an absolutely fantastic erection, and you can perform the sex for 2 hours, and you can satisfy your partner. That's not a problem. And how you can inject? See, you are not supposed to give here one to this area, okay? Because this is the area where there is a neuronal bundle. This is a nerve complex, okay? Neurovascular bundle, and this what you look at here, this area, either here on the left hand side or either on the right side. This is corpora. So you inject it directly here. Don't worry, directly inject. It's not a big thing, okay? You just directly inject here and give loading dose, and just wait for patient to get the erection. And you are not supposed to inject from below, because below is a urethra and upward is a neurovascular bundle. So you have to go sideways. You understand? So intracorporeal injection. And these are the side effects: priapism, giddiness, postural hypertension, bruising, infection, and long-standing fibrosis. Going further is nobody uses this, but this is just to cover up the modality. We have a certain amount of a device, what we called as a muse. This is a suppository. This particular pellet which contains the drug is alprostode. So this, once you put this particular thing, you just pinch it, the drug get liberated within the urethra and get absorbed, and this can cause an erection. But people are not happy, because this is something completely non-invasive. Intracavernosa injection, it is something invasive. So side effect is after this particular using of this particular muse therapy is people complain dysuria, people complain penile pain, and unsatisfactory erection. Use of oral drugs. Give me. I know it's 4:10. Just next 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Yohimbinum is a definitely Ayurvedic preparation. It is available at Atul Drug House at Worli Naka. It's alpha adrenergic antagonist. This yohimbinum hydrochloride, I give to my patient to 2 TDS, and this 2 TDS, which increase the desire, it increase the craving within the sex. So just try it. You may going to help it. It is not in the book, but it is just what we observe in our own practice. And sometimes you may going to have an very early ejaculation because of an performance anxiety. Then you give something clomipramine or sertraline, SSRI inhibitors, which can calm you and going to have a normal ejaculation, erection, and this and that. But obviously, these are the things. Now, this is a very hot topic, sildenafil citrate. As you are aware, it has been named by a Viagra, by a Pfizer. But I had a privilege in 2001 to work with Ranbaxy for Kawata on 40 patients of double-blind study with my respected teacher, Dr. Jackie Lal Malani from Taddev. And we were lucky to give talks all over the Bombay for different associations. Today is in Dadar, today later on the Thana, because that time there was a marketing and drug awareness program for a drug called Kavarta. And believe me, Kavarta, sildenafil citrate, which you people are already aware, is a fabulous drug. It's available into 25, 50, and 100 milligram, and oral tablet. It achieves its absorption within 30 to 120 minutes. Median time is 1 hour. 1 hour before the sex, and it will last for 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, and excellent erection, 82% improvement, and it may cover the medical etiology or medical problem of all etiology, and you may. So what is basically erection? So what this drug does is a PDE5 inhibitor. So when it goes inside, there is a sexual arousal, when you take a drug, there is the release of nitric oxide. It stimulates the cyclic GMP. Now, this cyclic GMP, which can cause a smooth muscle relaxation, which at the same time there is a venous outflow, backflow. There is a entrapment, or there is a venous reverse flow get blocked, and increase amount of blood flow, and you may going to have an erection. So this is how the situation of mechanism. And once the you may going to ejaculate, again the PDE5 come into picture. The cavernous contraction is there, decreased blood flow to the penis, and you may going to have an flaccid state or detumescence stage. So this is how the penile pulse is. And what you required for a normal erection is, first thing, see, you take a tablet and you say you're going to have an erection, it will never happen. Arousal and sexual stimulation from opposite partner is very important. So sexual stimulation, which can lead to release of nitric oxide, stimulation of GMP, inhibition of PDE5, increased level of cGMP, and improve quality of erection further. And this is how the original Viagra of Pfizer, you can they recommended 100 milligram dose also, but erection is fabulous. And this is how when we used to work for our Ranbaxy for a drug called as tablet Cavorta, it just cost about 120 rupees for 4 tablets, but Pfizer one tablet, 100 milligram tablet, is cost about more than $10. So that's why in United States there was a lot of sale of Viagra when this Viagra came into picture about 2000 and 1999 somewhere. So these drugs, obviously it is contraindicated. Somebody is on nitrate, somebody is on taking an anti-androgen, especially finasteride, or somebody taking an ketoconazole, antihypertensive, antidepressant, erythromycin. Erythromycin can cause drug interaction, but basically patients also on nitrates, especially a very low ejection fraction. You see, very low ejection fraction, and they are taking regular isosorbitate nitrate. Those patients, sildenafil is not the right choice. But do you have another drug? Is the tadalafil. Tadalafil having its cardiac safety, okay, and the same amount of action. But what is important of tadalafil safety? There is no changes in the ECG were observed, no changes in the laboratory values, and no increased cardiovascular risk compared to with placebo. And tadalafil, we also know, is known by international market is tablet Cialis. It available 10 and 20, and it has to be taken. It doesn't make a difference about food and this and that. But within 1 hour, it goes to you reach to a climax activity, and the effect of the drug which remains, the action which remains for 36 hours. So tadalafil is known by international market by Cialis, and on our Indian scenario, tablet Forgest by Ranbaxy. Again, it's same. You see, so this is how the sexual outcome. One is the desire. Second thing is the ability to perform with the help of sildenafil, authority, tadalafil, and so basically desire, erection, and which land up with an ejaculation. I'm sorry, I'm not covering up this. Actually, I wanted to, yes. So now, going further with this particular androgen. So, this is how you can just easily identify those patients who have an hypogonadism or certain amount of these particular factors. So what I have observed, if physically somebody is feeling fatigue, somebody has decreased muscle mass, lost less energy, decreased hair growth, especially in axilla or pubic area, means you just ask, कि भाई साहब आप कितने बार shaving करते हैं? Then he say, no, I do once in a week or twice a week. Once in a week they do. Especially that means their particular hypopituitarial gonadal axis is on the lower side. So decreased hair growth, pubic area and axilla, hot flushes. So these are all low testosterone this thing. So mentally feeling sad, loss of memory, loss of confidence, less enthusiasm. So feeling sad, loss of memory, loss of confidence, with this physical symptom, they may land up with a decreased drive, or means less libido or erectile dysfunction. So basically, these particular patients may go in the right candidate for giving an external source of an androgen. So indications for this thing is a hypogonadism, reduced libido, or idiopathic hyperprolactinemia. Their prolactin levels are very high. So if somebody is having an idiopathic hyperprolactinemia, you get done an CT scan of an brain, you may hit something called as pituitary adenoma. It is nothing to do with this, but to tell you shortly, these are all androgen deprivating area which can lead to a less erection. So what you do, basically, you can give an cutaneous gel, you can give an skin patches. Nowadays we have an skin patches by Ceronus gel or Ceronus patch, or we have an intramuscular injection of 100 milligram per 1 ml. Intramuscular injection, but it should be, you can give intramuscular injection, but this particular injection has to be repeated after 4 to 6 weeks. Within that 4 to 6 weeks, you are going to have this may act on psychological as well as physical level. So practically, testosterone, which can take care of your mood, it can take care about your muscle mass, it can take care of your loss of confidence, it can take care of your energy, and obviously you may regain back to your normal activity of erection. And obviously we have an also oral capsules in the form of capsule Nuvir, and this orally capsules also thrice a week you can give. Penile implant, this is the last option for somebody who had failure of an pharmacological event, means pharmacological drug toxin, means those who are failure of not responding to sildenafil, tadalafil. There is a fibrosis which has been already developed. They are not responding to intrapenile injections. So you have an option of rigid or malleable and inflatable. I had an experience about malleable sort of an implant, because this malleable implant, which cost about in Indian scenario, it is Shah's penile implant. So Dr. Rupin Shah is a pioneer to it's a very our proud moment. He's our teacher. He has invented his own penile prosthesis, and there is a Shah penile implant which is available at certain amount of surgical distributors, where this penile implant costs about 35 to 40,000 rupees. But this inflatable, which is not by the Indian people, this is by the Boston Scientific and American medical system, which costs us for a patient about 2 lakh rupees in INR. But this is so our people can't afford inflatable, so our people can go for a malleable. Now, what is the process about this? So this is how the malleable, these are the cylinders, which has to be open surgical method. So what you do at the root of the penis, means where there is a junction of the penis and the scrotum, you make a transverse incision. You make a transverse incision, and these are all inflatable. I will show you. So what you do, you make an incision here. You open up both the corpora cavernosa. You make an incision on the corpus cavernosa, and you dilate the corpus cavernosa with the basically how we do use the dilators for the DNC, dilatation and curettage in gynec. Similarly, you dilate this particular corpus cavernosa and get a maximum adequate diameter and fitted according to the size and length of the corpus cavernosa, proximally as well as distally. So this is how this thing, but this is obviously inflatable, where this particular prosthesis has to be fitted here. The reservoir here, the button is here. When you want to do the sex, you press the button, the water, the fluid which is here, which comes here and which fill up this particular 2 rods, and you are going to have an erection. And once you finish this thing, again you another button, you press it, this particular fluid go back to this particular reservoir. This has to be fixed up underneath the pubic area. You see? And this is how the Indian scenario. This is how an Indian implant, and this is how we make an incision here. We dilate this particular corpus cavernosa and fit it like this, and you may going to have something like this particular, khada bamboo. You see, absolutely massive erection. And this is how it can bend somewhere here, but the incision somewhere doing here, and implant has to be put it in both the particular corpus cavernosa. This is how the thing. Now, this is exactly I mentioned in 5 minutes. Absolutely fantastic non-invasive modality of treatment from 2012 onwards till date. principle is this is basically how we do lithotripsy for the kidney stone in a similar way, but this is a specialized machine with the different intensity, different hertz, and different and kind of an frequency. Sorry, different kind of an amount of energy. You see, so it generates high frequency with low intensity. It generates high frequency but with low intensity shock waves with the particular machine, with the electromagnetic shock waves, either by Dornier machine or direct machine or Karl Storz. These are all international distributors. So generates high frequency with the low intensity shock waves that stimulate erectile tissues, remodeling of the older and damaged vessels in the penis. And that process we called as angiogenesis. Means what happens? Whatever the blood vessels which get blocked, because of the shock waves, the blood vessels which get open up and it improves the blood flow. So more blood flow improves the quality of erection. So whatever the small amount of plaque, it may get dislodged or it may get ruptured, and it may going to have a good amount of penile blood flow. Again, second factor, increased growth factor cells within the corpus cavernosa, increased progenitor cells physiologically, decrease the anti-inflammatory effect because of the fibrosis, and tissue remodeling. What happens? It increases the elastin fibers and prevent the venous leaks. So what it does, basically, what are the patients? Oral treatment failure and injection failure. These are the candidates where they can switch over to just to patient has to go. This is very like an office sort of, you go to somebody's consultation, just lie down on his bed. The urologist or andrologist will take this particular machine and he will give the shock waves to a distal penile area, mid shaft area, and both the cruras of the particular corpora. And these particular shock waves, which will improve the blood flow, it will increase the growth factors, it will increase the stem cells within the penile area and improve the penile erection. So 6 sessions has to be done, 6 sessions, twice a week. हफ्ते में 2 बार करने का होता है, twice a week with a 1 week interval. So the treatment will remain for 6 weeks continuously, 6 weeks continuously, and total shock waves you have to give is 3000 with the frequency of 3 hertz with the energy of 0.1 to 0.25 mJ per mm square. So distal penile shaft 1000, mid penile shaft 1000, right 500 each, and left crura 500 each. So this particular 6 sessions, certainly they may not require Viagra, they may not require tadalafil, they may not require papaverine, and they may going to have a natural erection, and it doesn't cost much. The total what we charge for 6 sessions in Indian scenario is 90,000 to 1 lakh rupees. In United States, it costs about more than $3,000. So what we are talking about is more than 2 lakh 25, 2 lakh today's dollar rate. So this is how the situation, and this is how the awaiting what we are trying to see. Many different approaches are under investigation all over, wide common theme, investigation all over the world. Alter the normal smooth muscle relaxation quality, and probably it may work out. So gene therapy, and this is how I feel after the Viagra come. That's something odd when somebody has been kept, but the next day morning when he saw the Viagra bottle was lost and everybody's penis start erecting like this. And you have to support your partner with the dispensing Viagra, just keeping upstairs. And this is how the secret of a White House just recently the election has been taken place. So you can see how much amount of Viagra, you see. And this is how the Viagra which can nourishes the effect, you see. And one should have a nose like such kind of a erection. Only thing you should know when to sneeze it. And thank you so much for all kind patient listening. And your erection has to be like a fabulous, excellent, and miraculous that somebody should always keep in mind. And that's why I kept this particular slide. It's like a Taj. It's like a via Viagra. You see, via Viagra. So you should remember the last slide of Taj Mahal. Thank you so much for ladies and gentlemen for kind listening, and thank you, Mangesh, for your kind invitation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Devidas sir.
Come here, camera on,
It
sir.
was really a very good brainstorming session, and which keep us stand erect. So thanks again for your beautiful lecture, and thanks all the audience for patient listening. You have mentioned the name of Dr. Vipin Shah, the topmost rhinologist in the Mumbai. Uh, so I want to ask something about what Dr. Vipin Shah has told in the conference 10 years ago, that is use of vibrators in an ejaculation or loss of libido. So what is your opinion on the use of vibrators on an ejaculation?